What's going on, guys, and welcome to our yearly Best Month of PlayStation Plus episode, in which we figure out what the best month of PlayStation Plus in 2021 was. We sat around, we played the games on PlayStation Plus throughout the year, and now we're going to discuss it and figure out a winner. Joining me today, well, first off, I'm Seth. Welcome. And joining me today, we got a full panel again. If you guys watched our last episode together, you'll recognize everybody here, but let me introduce them. So below me, we got Chevy. Chevy, welcome to this episode. How you doing?
Doing good. Just hanging out.
You excited to figure out what the best month of PlayStation Plus is? Officially, no dispute, not fucking, it's completely objective.
I'm excited to see whatever month I like not win again.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited about that. Down in the bottom left corner, we got Josh joining us. He's got a light on this time, so that's exciting. Josh, how you doing? And are you excited to have light and to figure this out?
Yeah, I lost power there for like a week. It was cool, but we got light back on, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, fucking the power's gone, dude, but he's able to film himself.
I lost power, but I was able to join you for the fucking Discord call.
Josh La Cucaracha.
Glad that shit worked.
That's their nickname.
Nope, that's him. All right, up in the top left corner, we got Cody joining us in the blue room. Cody, how you doing? And
doing
you excited
good.
to have this conversation?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I'm glad to be back again. This
Yeah.
is, what is this? You know,
Second
this
time
is
in a
pretty.
year.
Exactly. This is good. This is where I'm on a
You're
roll
a
here.
regular around
I'm
here,
feeling
dude.
good. I'm feeling good. I'm on a roll. No, I'm glad to be back on. So glad to
Yeah,
talk
I'm
about
excited. We had a good conversation last time, so this is gonna be a lot of fun. And then Sarah's joining us again. How you doing, Sarah? And are you excited to participate in this yearly thing we do around here?
Yep.
Yep, big yep, dude.
Sure am. Big yep.
That's
Fucking
cool.
fair enough. Quick
Glad
and
to have
easy.
you here for this. So yeah, for anybody who hasn't participated in this with us in prior years, welcome and hit the subscribe button if you're brand new. So every month we play the games on PlayStation Plus throughout the month, and at the end of the month we talk about it on Plus Club. We do that every year throughout the year, and at the beginning of the next year, every time we do this, we have a discussion that we're going to be doing today where we find out what the best month of that year was. So 2021 had a bunch of games that came out on PlayStation Plus. We played them. Specifically, me and Chevy 100% played every single one, but you guys played plenty of them, and you guys, no one here is a non-gamer. You guys know what these games are, so you'll have some info there. And yeah, we're going to go around and essentially vote on what our favorite months were until we have a definitive winner. You guys can see at the bottom left corner of the screen, there is a bracket. Those are randomly generated where the months are. Anybody listening, we have July and May at the beginning of the bracket. Then we got March and October. Then we got January versus August. Then we got June versus September. And then whatever the winners of those go on to go against December, November, February, and April. And we'll keep discussing in a clockwise circle which ones we vote for until we find out the winner. Then in the top left, for anybody, we didn't do this in prior or in the last couple of years, so we're doing it this time. We have a reference of the months and what games came out during those months for you guys, if you, in case you kind of forget where we're at, what's going on. It also helps me because then I can reference them easier. Everybody's got a list on their own as well in case they forget. And yeah, we're just going to go around, discuss it. We have 5 people here, so it should make making a decision easy, considering we'll have an odd number. And yeah, does anybody have anything to say on this before we start?
No.
We're all good?
Yeah.
Did I make that clear enough how this works?
I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like I did. Okay, cool. So typically I start this, but we're gonna change things up this year. Again, we're going clockwise as you see us on the screen. So and then alternating by one person each time, so that we always have a new person starting, and it's not just the same person starting us off with their vote. So this time around, we're gonna start with Josh. Josh, the first on the bracket is July and May. For anybody listening, in July we had A Plague Tale: Innocence, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, WWE 2K Battlegrounds, and then in May we had Wreckfest, Battlefield 5, and Stranded Deep. Go about it how you want on which one you're going to vote for.
I'm gonna have to go for May. I thought that Battlefield 5, Stranded Deep, and Wreckfest were just a better deal. Wreckfest literally being one of the better destruction racing games I've ever played. Battlefield 5 was Battlefield 5, but playing it with people, we had quite a few good nights doing that. So then Stranded Deep was a survival game, of course, but it wasn't too bad. It sucks that the co-op was only on PC though, not on PlayStation.
That was really weird.
Yeah, just July I thought was a lot weaker. 2K Battlegrounds was 100% forgettable. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 I thought was weird. It's like when they did World War II last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you're just trying to bring population back to a game that's already done by 2 years now. And then a Plague Tale Innocence, of course, is the PS5 version of the first Plague Tale. And I didn't really get around to play it, but that game alone was enough to hold July up. So May's my vote.
All right, sounds good. Let's move on to Cody. Which one are you going to vote for and why?
So I'm going to go with just purely, honestly, on just Stranded Deep, just because that just is my type of game out of all the other games for May. Just because I'm just a big survival game guy. I didn't play it on PS Plus, but I did play it on PC. So it's kind of a bummer that the co-op did not work on PS Plus, because that game on PC is really fun with co-op.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was a huge disappointment.
Yeah, but that's just usually how I play survival games, is usually alone anyway. So it's still worth that month to me anyway. So that's my winner, May.
All right, we got 2 votes for May, none for July, and Sarah, you get to either make or break this. You can decide if May is the winner or keep it alive with picking July.
I think I'm gonna go May.
Okay.
Also, I kind of agree with Cody. I think Stranded Deep is good. I think it's kind of an easy decision for me. With Stranded Deep, I prefer Battlefield to COD, and I think Wreckfest was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, that lets May go on to go against December later. July has lost, but of course we need to hear my opinion on it and also Chevy's opinion on it. So I'll go first. So in July we got Plague Tale Innocence, which is a great game. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which is a game I like, but it's my least favorite of the Black Ops games. And WWE 2K Battlegrounds, which was kind of an interesting game, but it's like, why do we have it? It was just a lesser wrestling game. Didn't do much outside of having these specials you could do, but that was it. And then in May, we get Wreckfest, which is an awesome destruction derby game. Battlefield 5, which is, it's okay. It was my least favorite Battlefield until 2042 came out. So it's fine. And then Stranded Deep, which is good. Didn't have the co-op that I wanted, but it was a fun game. So I would have joined you guys on picking May. I think May is definitely the better of the 2 months, mostly because you got good 2 great games in May, whereas in July you had 1 big banger, and 2 they were like, it wasn't even a bad month, July. It's just May is definitely a much better month in my opinion. So I would have also picked May. Chevy?
I do think that most people would probably go with May. I personally actually probably went with July though. There's really nothing in May that I enjoyed playing all that much. Battlefield 5 was okay. Stranded Deep needed to be multiplayer, and it had really, in my opinion, the kind of survival mechanics I hate in survival games. And Wreckfest was a pretty fun game, but it's not enough to hold the month for me. Battlegrounds in July was a pretty meh experience. Call of Duty is Call of Duty. I think that's just a safe give to people. And then Plague Tale is just awesome, I think. So,
yeah. Yeah, Plague Tale, I think, has a lot of weight to it. I think it's a really good game. I think most people liked it. But yeah, just what it came with was all serviceable stuff for sure. I mean, you've got Call of Duty, which is great, but kind of like what Josh said, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has been out for a while, so it's kind of an interesting pick to release. But, you know, Activision is not going to give you a newer game, so kind of makes sense. So yeah, we would have had 1 vote for July and 4 votes for May. May moves on. Anything else you want to say, Chevy? No. All right, moving on. We're going to start with Cody this time. Cody gets to pick his vote between March and October. For anybody curious, in March we played Maquette, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, and Farpoint, which is a VR game. And then in October, we got Hell Let Loose, Mortal Kombat X, and PGA Tour 2K21.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to go with March, right? From looking at the same thing. Wait, is that what you said? Yeah, March. So, well, just purely alone as Final Fantasy VII Remake. I mean, that's a big deal to me. So, just right off the bat, I mean, just what stands out to me and what I just have to pick is March right off, you know, just for Final Fantasy VII Remake, because I mean, even though you're kind of getting half of a game, it's still worth it. It's almost like you're getting that. If you have PlayStation Plus, you're already getting that game. It's kind of the perfect setup for the second half when you do get it.
Yep.
That's a whole thing too. But that game alone, I mean, the fact that I mean, it's just still remembering, like when they announced it, it's really crazy. I mean, it's even crazy now to think that they still did that just for PlayStation Plus. But yeah, that's mine. Very worth it. Clear winner for me.
Yeah, it was crazy too because Final Fantasy VII Remake came out on PlayStation Plus not that far after the game had even come out. It came out the year before. So it's kind of a great get to get so early on.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who wanted that game most likely had it, but for anybody who didn't, I mean, like you definitely weren't upset to have received that. So, yeah. So that's 1 vote for March. Moving over to Sarah. Sarah, you got March and October. Which one gets your vote and why?
I'm gonna go with March.
Okay.
I mean, I agree about Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think it's smart because now you're not gonna have as many people who didn't buy it, didn't play it, so they're not gonna buy the second one. Now everybody has it. But mostly I'm picking March for Remnant from the Ashes. I think that's a great game. Love it. As far as October, I like Hell Let Loose. I think it's better on PC, so I don't feel strongly specifically about playing it on PlayStation. Mortal Kombat's not really my style of fighting game.
Yeah, you were not digging it.
No.
You were playing it and you sounded pissed.
I was pissed, yeah. But yeah, I think really like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Remnant from the Ashes really hold up March.
Strong combo.
Yeah.
All right. That is 2 votes for March, and I get to decide. I'm the decider. Do I keep it alive or solidify how good of a month March was? So in October, again, Hell Let Loose, Mortal Kombat X, and PGA Tour 2K21, all good games. I mean, Hell Let Loose was done well on PS5. I do prefer to play it on PC, but it was kind of hard to aim in that game on controller. It doesn't have really much aim assist. Mortal Kombat X was fine. You know, I like it enough. And PGA was fun outside of the questionable multiplayer in it that me and Chevy experienced, and we're not big fans of. Not to speak for you, but I'm pretty sure you said that. And then in March, let's see, where's March at? Maquette, really, really interesting puzzle game that uses perspective to allow you to solve these very creative puzzles and a really cool, like whimsical visual style. Final Fantasy VII Remake, that's a huge get. Like that's probably one of the best games that was received on PlayStation Plus in 2021. Farpoint, I already owned it before it came out on here. I didn't play it that month for PlayStation Plus, but it is pretty cool that at this point PlayStation Plus Plus was giving out VR games, as it is obviously something Sony definitely believes in, as they're making a PSVR 2. If you're curious about our thoughts on that, go check out the prior Tastycast. And then everybody knows I love Remnant from the Ashes. I think it's a fantastic game, and it plays very well on console. Not as good as PC, but it's very playable. I think just the sheer volume of great games in March makes me have to pick March. So that is the defining vote. And March moves on to go against November. It's crazy, dude. March is a very, very good month for PlayStation Plus, now that I'm looking at it. I forgot Final Fantasy VII came out with Remnant from the Ashes, 2 games I love.
Wild.
And Maquette was cool. It was not amazing, but it was cool. I thought it was neat. And Farpoint was a cool extra little get there. So, yeah. Chevy, what would you have picked?
I mean, I also would have went with March. I think Final Fantasy VII and Remnant are really strong games to get. I mean, Final Fantasy VII is an entire fucking game, so I mean, like, that's kind of crazy. Remnant, though short, is completely replayable and really good multiplayer, has loot, all that stuff. You know, the only complaint we've ever, not to speak for other people, but the only complaint really is that I feel like the campaign's a little short. Maquette, not my style, but it is a cool game. And then for October, like Hell Let Loose, I'm just not fond of at all. I'm sure it probably is better on PC, but I didn't play it on PC. And then PGA Tour has like the most half-assed multiplayer I've ever seen in a sports game. It's really weird. Mortal Kombat's great though. Yeah,
I agree. Hell Let Loose, man. Like I was playing it on PS5 and I was like, it looks like the PC version. They did a great job porting this over, but it was like almost impossible to fucking aim in it. So I was like, how can I play a first-person shooter that's competitive when like aiming is atrocious? So yeah, I definitely agree.
PS5 trigger functionality.
Yeah, that you couldn't turn off. You might be able to do it in the PlayStation settings. I guarantee they have something that turns that off for like, you know, people that might have not have the strength or don't want to fucking deal with it. But the game itself didn't have the option to do that, and it's really stupid because after a while that does start wearing on your finger, just pulling that fucking trigger. Plus, in a competitive sense, it's awful to have that delay to pull the trigger. So,
in the set, because I turned my settings off. It's definitely in the controller settings of the PlayStation itself.
You turn them off completely for every game?
100%. I feel like I'm gonna break the damn thing half the time because I get the resistance and I'm like, I feel like if I push it any harder, that whole thing's just gonna fucking break in there. And it probably won't, but I also got stick drift on 2 of my fucking controllers, so you know, who knows?
Yeah, true.
So I just turned that shit completely off.
Yeah, that's fair.
Interesting.
Yeah, some games.
I just learned something about Josh.
We did.
Yeah.
We learned a lot. We all learned a lot. Josh.
Got a fucking itchy trigger finger. That's what he's just fucking waiting to get that.
All itchy trigger finger Josh,
I'm
dude.
just like imagining playing games without that. And it seems strange, but
no, in Astrobot it worked really well, but in like Assassin's Creed Valhalla it was shit. In Call of Duty it was shit.
Yeah, shooters I don't like it because it just doesn't. It gets in the way.
Yeah,
so,
and
certain experiences I think are neat though, like the half press that some people are doing now, essentially making 2 buttons in one. I think it's a cool
Returnal
thing.
did that, and it worked really well in fucking Returnal.
Yeah, didn't Ratchet and
Returnal
Clank
did
do
shit.
something like that too?
Oh, I wouldn't know. I had the shit off, so
Yeah, that's true.
It pretty much only works in single player games, man.
Yeah, competitively I don't like it. Godfall kind of has it, and it's a little annoying, but I'm getting like strong as fuck. Fucking, I play the game so much that now my wrist is just getting buff from just pulling back that fucking trigger.
yeah, I actually really like the way it works in Godfall.
Yeah, it gives you information on what's happening. All right, so who do we have left? Josh. Josh, you're not a deciding factor, but you can tell us what you would have picked.
Oh no, this would have been a straight wipe because I'm also going with March. I think that I have a bad taste in my mouth for Final Fantasy VII Remake because that was when the Yuffie DLC was coming out and it wasn't included, and you had to like upgrade to the PS5 version, and like so like that was confusing and kind of a mess. But the quality of Final Fantasy VII, the remake, is out of this fucking world.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a good get regardless. Plus, that was when they released that was when the year was up on the exclusivity for the Xbox.
Yeah.
So they just gave it free to PlayStation users. And, you know, if you're an Xbox user, you would have had to pay for it by then. So that was kind of cool. Remnant of the Ashes is an awesome fucking underrated game.
Yep.
More people need to fucking play it. It played fine on console, played well actually, but I do prefer it on PC. And the reason March beat out October is Hell Let Loose is definitely better to be played on PC.
Mm-hmm.
There's not even like a comparison there. Mortal Kombat X, I had an issue with because if you have a PS5 and PS Plus, you get it for free anyway.
Yeah. That happened a couple times this year.
Yeah, because it's in the PS Collection.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Mortal Kombat is hands down the best Mortal Kombat out there. And I was also kind of annoyed it wasn't the extra version with all the extra fighters in it.
I thought it was.
Yes,
No.
it is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I had the
Ultimate.
Xenomorph, all sorts of shit.
Oh, okay, then never mind. I was wrong. In fact, PGA Tour was my favorite game of that month, and
Yeah.
the only problem is March whooped its ass. So
Yeah.
the vote was for March.
Yeah, so far we've had like 4 months. They're all pretty good that we've discussed, but there's some that are definitely stronger than others. So, all right. So who went first last time? Cody.
Yeah.
All right. So this time around, Sarah will go first. Sarah gets to pick between January and August. And in January we had Maneater, Greedfall, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And then in August we had, where is August? Hunter's Arena Legends. I forgot about that one. Plants vs. Zombies, Battle for Neighborville, and Tennis World Tour 2. I forgot about that one too. Which one do you want to vote for and why?
So I think January was a really good month. And that is probably what I will. Yep, that's what I'm picking.
Okay.
Maneater was okay. It was a lot of fun. I haven't gone back to it. But it's a cool idea and it's fun. I loved Greedfall.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really good game. I think Greedfall on its own is probably what holds January up. I didn't play Shadow of the Tomb Raider, honestly. As far as August, I really loved Plants vs. Zombies.
Same.
And I think that's what's making the decision hard because Plants vs. Zombies was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think Maneater and Greedfall that's the better month because Hunter's Arena Legends or whatever it was not good.
It's a free-to-play mobile game, dude.
Yeah,
That
I did
shit's
not like
trash.
that game. I didn't play the tennis game.
Yeah.
Really, I don't.
That game was fucking rough too, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Emulation.
I remember when you played it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't play that. Definitely, I think I love Greedfall. I think that's a great game.
Yeah.
Play it.
I will. I'm gonna do it. All right. I will go next. This one's kind of tough for me because I also really liked Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. I liked it way more than I thought I was going to like it. And in fact, if you've thought about playing the game and you're like, hey, it's for kids, whatever, you should just check it out. It's actually like a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff to do in it. And it is definitely meant for everybody to be able to play it. But that includes you. You're everybody. So check it out. January, we got Maneater, which I thought was okay. I like I didn't even talk about the other August games. Maneater was okay. I wasn't like super in love with it, but it's like a fun idea, and I'm glad somebody just made a shark game for the fuck of it. Like that's fun. Greedfall is good in a lot of ways. I didn't love it just because it does have a little bit of jank to it that makes it not feel like a smooth experience, but I do commend Spiders for what they did with that game, and I look forward to their next one for sure because I feel like they're just getting better and better. So really excited for what they do. Not the biggest fan of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Wasn't a big fan of it. The Tomb Raider games are fine. I know a lot of people love them, so if you love them, I'm not talking shit about it. Maybe I'm just an Uncharted fanboy. I don't know, but they don't do much for me. And then, yeah, August, Hunter's Arena Legends is trash. It's garbage. It's an insult that they gave it to us. They should have paid us for that. And then Tennis World Tour 2 is the Dark Souls of tennis games. It's very hard. So I'm gonna do something interesting here, though. I'm gonna pick August because out of all these games, all 6 of them, Plants vs. Zombies is my favorite one. By far. I really enjoy that game. It was a lot of fun playing with you guys. That random fucking just PvP fight we got into for like 2-3 hours in the town center area was a blast. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to go with August. It is now anyone's game. I'm going to throw it to Chevy.
This is really easy for me. Out of all 6 games, there's only one I had fun with and would play again, and that's Plants vs. Zombies. So I'm going to go with August.
Man, this is a little surprising, honestly. Because I think 1 month is like stronger, but 1 month has one banger that's really good. So it's like rough.
Yeah, I agree.
You even were like,
Yeah, no, I had a hard time picking. But yeah, I just think January had 2 games I liked versus the
True.
one. But yeah, just like you guys talking about Plants vs. Zombies too. It's just like that game. We had so much fun playing it.
I would play it now.
Yeah.
But Maneater and Greedfall are both good games too.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tomb Raider. There are people who love it, so I'm just weird on that one. But without discussing it too much further, it's still up in the air, Josh. So you can either keep it in the air or decide on this one between January and August.
It's going to be up to Cody, so start sweating, bitch, because I'm going with January. I think that Greedfall and Maneater are just 2 fucking banger games. We all know me. I love, like, it's kind of a in joke that I just love janky ass games, and
Yeah.
Maneater fits that bill.
So it's
Has
Greedfall.
unique. Yeah, they both have really like unique, good ideas.
Yep.
That just need to see a proper budget. Like, also when Maneater came out, the PS5 version came out, the native version, which just made it even better. It ran better, and it was unique. There's no shark games out there. There's no
Yeah.
underwater destroy everything. I mean, unless you're playing like Subnautica or whatever. Where
Kind of remind me of a game from like the Sega Genesis era of like just mayhem for
Shark
mayhem's
Tony
sake.
Hawk.
Yeah, it was
Wasn't it like a Shark Tony Hawk sort of?
Yeah, pretty much. You just
Kind
go
of, yeah,
around
it was
and
like
cause
you just-
mayhem,
you
get fucking points,
yeah.
and level up your shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like there was like cool shit to fight, and like every area had like a legendary animal to fight, and it gave you pieces for your shark to fucking evolve, and had really cool ideas, and every area was completely different. That being said, it's definitely an arcade game, and it obviously did not have the budget that it should have. Greenfall is the same way. It could easily rival a BioWare game if given the proper budget.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Hunter's Arena Legends is is dumpster trash. Plants vs. Zombies was fun, but I only played like a couple matches, and so maybe my experience is pushing me more towards January per
For
se.
sure.
And then Tennis World Tour, fuck that game. I played like one match and I was like,
It's
fucking simulation
ruthless,
tennis
dude.
blows.
I started that game and it's like, oh, you're a beginner? Fuck you. And he started just destroying me. I was like, okay, I guess I won't play
Yeah.
this.
But I actually beat Greedfall and Maneater in that month, so I have to go with January.
You invested the time into them, so that makes sense. All right, Cody, you got January and August to decide which one's the winner.
Okay, well, I don't sweat because I got ice water in my veins. So, and I didn't play any of the games in August, so it's a easy win is January because I played those games. So it didn't really matter. I honestly, even though I played Greedfall's good. I think it was kind of janky when I played it though. It's got some jank to it. It was fun, but I just think there was something about it that just seemed like very old school to me. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the graphics. It just seemed kind of janky. Maneater, I didn't play it, but I watched you play it when you first got your PS5, and it looked fun. Like it's the Tony Hawk Maneater fucking shark jumping out of the water and then getting the guy on the boat and bite. I mean, it looked cool. It looked fun. And then Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I mean, it's not a great game, but I think if you're wanting that whole Tomb Raider experience, you know what I mean, that those collective of games, you're gonna get that in that game. You're gonna kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a timepiece in a way. I think the way that I'm kind of thinking about it, just getting that type of game, because they're fun, but they weren't really like amazingly memorable.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, it had its thing. And yeah, and since it's the last one, so anyway, January.
All right. Well,
Maneater,
January
Grateful.
moves on.
That was easy.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Easy.
without Plants vs. Zombies, August was actually kind of a shit month in my opinion.
Sure.
Just, yeah. January definitely is a stronger all-around month in my opinion as well. It's hard to do the decision for me, but just my love of Plants vs. Zombies, weirdly enough to say that, was very strong. Yeah, it's weird. That one's like a strong contender for me. All right, cool. So January moves on to go against February, and now who goes first? Me? Yay, yeah. Me. Okay, so Seth, you have June and September to pick. And let's see. So in June, we got Operation Tango, Star Wars Squadrons, and Virtua Fighter 5. I forgot that. And in September, we got Overcooked, All You Can Eat, The Redemption Story, Hitman 2, and Predator Hunting Grounds. Man, I feel like that was just yesterday I played all three of those. This one's pretty easy for me, but I'm going to kind of go through my thought process. So June is a pretty interesting month because you got Operation Tango, which I think was a really cool experience. Me and Chevy played that, and those kind of co-op games where you have to work together to solve puzzles are a lot of fun. Had a couple confusing parts, but for the most part, it was a cool game. Not really a strong story, but the experience was neat. Star Wars Squadrons, I think, is a hollow husk of a game that could have been very cool, but was okay. And Virtua Fighter 5 was just like Grandpa came to visit real quick, and you're like, hey, I'm glad to see you alive, and get the fuck out of here. So that's pretty much what happened there. And then, in September, Overcooked All You Can Eat, which was very interesting to play because we had played it before. I think the original Overcooked. It didn't have online play, didn't have this, didn't have that. It's a very frustrating game. This one has added online support and is both games with a bunch of stuff that's unlocked already for customization purposes. And we ended up liking it more than we liked it originally. So that was a kind of cool experience. I always love having to change my mind on things like that. Hitman 2 is fucking awesome. I love Hitman. And the new Hitman games are all very good. In fact, Hitman 2 is so good, I played through it, and then I went and bought Hitman 3, and it's very good. And then Predator Hunting Grounds, I didn't hate. It was kind of fun, but also kind of whatever. So I think this one's really easy. I'm picking September just because all three games are decent to really good. And June is kind of a hodgepodge of okay experiences that are being weighed down by Grandpa because he died. So,
Grandpa.
Yeah, moving on over to Chevy. What are you going to pick and why? June and September.
Yeah. So, I recognize that September is a stronger month.
Mm-hmm.
But I only had fun with Operation Tango. So I'm going to go with June.
All right. It's getting interesting. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
Star Wars Squadrons was such like a whatever game. That was like a good opportunity that they fumbled. Virtua Fighter 5 is not my type of fighting game. I mean, it's cool for people who are into it. I think it has not aged that well.
There's only like two people on Reddit who defended it, so.
Hitman 2, I have nothing negative to say. It's not my type of game, like at all. I don't want to stealth around and stuff like that usually.
Yeah.
Overcooked It's fun enough, but you have to be in the right mindset for it. And Predator, I thought was kind of whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of whatever. It's whether you enjoy with that whatever or not.
And Operation Tango offered a good co-op experience, minus some frustratingly communication on the game's behalf. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. All right, we got 1 vote for June, 1 vote for September. We got a game going now. Josh, what are you going to pick and why between June and September?
2 votes for September. June, at the end of every month, I'm always scouring Twitter to see what like the leaks are and see, if anything is released for the next month's games, the PS Plus games. And this was the first time the whole year I remember going, because it just wasn't. All 3 of those games, I was like, those aren't banger games at all.
For which month? June?
Actually, June, yeah. And especially coming off of a strong month like May with Battlefield, Stranded Deep, and Wreckfest, it was definitely like, oh, Jesus. So, September, because Hitman 2 is fucking awesome. They really hit their stride with the second one. Still to this day, there's not the intricacy of levels that game has. I think it was Hitman 1, but the fucking fashion show is hands down one of the best levels ever.
It's pretty neat.
And I think did all the Hitman 1 levels come with this Hitman 2?
If you own it.
Was this that? Oh, yeah, this was that version.
Yeah.
Overcooked, you got to be really secure with your relationships with the people you're playing with, because it is one of those games where fucking...
I'll kill you.
Why aren't you doing the fucking dishes? It's like... You start to yell at each other and get upset.
Oddly specific, dude. Why aren't you doing the fucking dishes?
That was a very specific example. And then Predator Hunting Grounds, like 5v1 or the lopsided multiplayer really has to find a niche to get into, to make it. And Predator just was Jank City, and it just didn't work. It was fucking Evolve.
It was like Evolve, right? Yeah, okay. That's what
and
1 Predator versus 4 players.
And like it obviously that works because we see it with Dead by Daylight, and even in extension Friday the 13th, but that game was a clusterfuck too.
Yeah, true.
But September was just a stronger month, so
yeah. All right, so we got 2 votes for September and 1 vote for June. Cody, are you going to pick September or are you going to keep it alive with June, and why?
I'm going to crush June and pick September. Just September just has more of my type of games. Hitman 2, awesome. Overcooked, same kind of thing. I love that kind of frustrating, like that's how you get to know people. Like, as you play those types of games, and it's either fun or it's not. And you won't play those games again with the people you're playing with, or you'll keep playing them. And then Predator, I didn't play it. I'm vaguely interested. I thought that might have been a cool thing. I think I don't know, that one kind of slipped through the cracks because I kind of forgot about that one until I saw it on the list. But it's just another Evolve type of game, like you said. Those games, it's just. They all kind of lumped in together, and none of them are really that great. So
yeah, somebody's got to figure that out. I mean, I think the best one's Dead by Daylight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
by far.
Still watch that game.
And I mean, it's thriving, but man, that game, it just gets dogged by the people that play it constantly. So I don't
can't
know.
make them happy unless you got pictures of half naked characters.
Fucking Michael Myers with his shirt off.
Yeah.
Fucking
There's some
choking dudes against the wall and stuff.
There's some really interesting fan art for that game.
Yeah, feel it. But no, September is gonna be the month.
All right,
September.
that leads September into having to go up against April. So we'll hand it over to Sarah, and you can let us know what you would have voted for.
September, easy. I feel like I like the idea of Operation Tango. I like games like that. I don't think that it was the best one. You know, it was kind of okay. That's kind of how I feel about all the games in June, just like bad to okay. September, I loved Overcooked. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Fucking tested our relationship.
I feel like it's one of the games that I feel like I want to play again. I love Hitman. Hitman 2 is very good. You know, like you, I bought Hitman 3 after playing Hitman 2 again. Predator Hunting Grounds I thought was janky, but I actually had a lot of fun playing it. I thought the customization options were cool. I didn't play much as Predator. I don't know. That felt even more janky than playing as one of the
Commandos,
yeah. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that game. I think September definitely, is one of those months where I enjoyed all the games that we got.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good one all around. Yeah, I keep every time you guys talk about Overcooked, I keep thinking about just how stressful that fucking game is and how that stress translated negatively the first time I played it because the experience was lacking in a lot of ways. I was like, man, this game's fucking really hard and can't play it online, all that shit. And then I played it again with the online, with both games offered in one package, and ended up having more fun that time around. It also depends on who you're playing with, I guess. Luckily, most people I play with in a game like that are all like, good at communicating things and teamwork and stuff like that. But I can only imagine if you're playing with somebody who just was not working with you, not doing the dishes apparently. Yeah, it was it's kind of cool to get that turnaround with that game when I had played it. So that's everybody, I believe. That's 5 votes. All right, so we actually went through that pretty quickly. The next one, I think we're starting with Chevy this time, right?
Yep.
I went last? Okay. Yeah, somebody back me up and remember this because I got a lot going on. So, Chevy, you will be voting for either December or May. May made it in to go against December. And so, to remind people, in May, we played Wreckfest, Battlefield 5, and Stranded Deep. And now it is going up against December, where we got Godfall Challenger Edition, Mortal Shell, and Lego DC Supervillains. Chevy, what are you picking and why? All I'm learning is Chevy just did not have that great of a fucking year for PlayStation Plus.
No, this year was really bad for me.
Samesies, man.
Fuck, dude, I don't know.
Just flip a coin, dude.
December, just because I feel like it has more varied stuff. No, they're both pretty varied. I don't know. I think Mortal Shell and is probably the most impressive game out of all 6 of them to me, and that's not saying a whole lot. So
yeah, I like Josh's fucking subtle thing he did there. Yeah, I mean December, May,
they're all pretty bad for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. From your perspective, because I obviously know you really well. I'm looking at this. I'm like, yeah, what do you pick? Like, it's all rough. But you picked.
I just like, I guess, the imagination in Mortal Shell. So.
Yeah, for sure, it makes sense. So you picked December. That's 1 vote for it. Anything else you want to say on that?
Not really.
All right, Josh, you're up. You got December and May. Which one are you picking and why?
Look, May has some banger games, but the only game I'm still playing is Godfall. That game is criminally, in my opinion, underrated. There's some depth in there that I think is lost on a lot of people, and it was kind of jank to give you just the end game, but the end game is a whole game in itself, so I do get it.
Yeah. I did think it was a bad move, but I also came into it having already played the campaign, so it didn't affect me. But
yeah, and I actually bought the campaign, and it came with the expansion and all that jazz. And the campaign wasn't nothing to sniff at, but it was still like a fun romp. And with co-op, it'd be a fun time. So December, it's between pretty much like Wreckfest and Godfall just is clear winner. So December.
Yeah. All right, Cody, you can either keep it alive and pick May, or close it out with December. Which one are you picking and why?
Damn, I'm always just kicking these other months in the dick, dude. So I'm going December.
All right.
The way I look at it is just like Godfall. I mean, from what you guys have talked about it, I mean, I haven't played it, but just sounds like it's had its little trip up in the beginning, but it seems like it's come together nicely, and it's a game worth.
To be fair,
definitely
though, we're
playing.
biased because we're 3 of the 8 people who play the game. So
Sure. Still, there's probably still something there.
yeah.
Baby can get some scraps, maybe. Some gameplay scraps. And then Lego DC Supervillains, I feel like that's just, I mean, maybe you got a kid, he wants to play, that kind of thing. It's not my type of thing. I hate the fucking Lego games, but if you have a kid, they might like it. It's fun. It's a good old deal. And then Mortal Shell is awesome. I mean, if you like Dark Souls, any of those types of games, it's definitely. I played it on PC, but it would definitely had some jank on there. Maybe on the PlayStation version was a little bit better. But it's definitely fun. Definitely a lot going there.
Yeah.
Huh?
It was pretty janky on console. I would
was it
prefer to
too?
play it
Yeah.
on PC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it still was a good. It still worked just fine. It just definitely had a couple things with it that was kind of odd.
Sure. But yeah, it's just overall well-rounded month. December.
All right. Well, December is the winner, and it will be going up against something once we figure that out. But Sarah, what would you have voted for, and why?
I feel like this is the moment I've been waiting for. December, definitely. I love Godfall. I don't know. I'm still playing Godfall. I think, like Josh was saying, it's very underrated game. I think, it was released initially with some issues, definitely. Felt a little hollow in some aspects. I think with the expansion better. As far as the Challenger edition, I know there's a lot of people upset about, what we didn't get, I guess. I do agree. I think it wasn't a smart move necessarily, but as someone who has played the campaign and the end game, if I had to pick one or the other, I'm glad that they did give the end game, because the campaign, I think, kind of feels like a demo a little bit. Like it's kind of getting you
Ready for endgame.
ready for the rest of the game, kind of introducing ideas and stuff like that. I don't think it would have stood on its own as well as the end game. Though, I mean, they should have just given you the whole game.
Yeah.
Mortal Shell, okay. Lego DC Supervillains. I thought the customization was cool. Overall, I didn't enjoy the game that much. Again, still playing Godfall. I think Godfall is really carrying December for me, not September.
All right. So is it me now? Right? I didn't say anything yet. Obviously, my vote doesn't matter, but this is a lot closer than I feel like it should be in my head, because May is a good month. Wreckfest is a destruction derby game, and it's really good. It's the best one I can think of right off the top of my head. Battlefield 5 is a serviceable competitive shooter. It's not my favorite one, and it's kind of soulless, but it's very good looking, and there's fun to be had there. And Stranded Deep is a cool game. It needed the co-op. It didn't have it. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that, but it's a cool game. That's a good varied month with a lot of random things to do in it, and that is awesome. But then December we got Godfall, which is controversial. I talked with you guys on Reddit about that, and everybody seemed to be on the same page that they felt like they got cheated, and I get that. I get where you're coming from. But I would urge you to not think of it as a demo, and more so the actual game they gave you. They didn't give you the tutorial. That's pretty much what happened, and some skill points. That's fucked. But 99% of the game you're going to be playing is what they gave you. So they just didn't give you the tutorial with a really shitty story.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun to play with people. But anyway, you got that. Then you got Mortal Shell, which is a Soulsborne style game. Little jankier, doesn't have the polish, but it's super commendable. You look at what they did with that game, and they put a lot of work into it. You can tell they really cared about it. And then Lego DC Supervillains is a game for everybody that could be played co-op. A lot of just mindless fun to be had, especially if you're a DC fan. There's a lot of cool their versions, goofy versions of people you know and love from DC comics. So both months were like really diverse, really good months, I think. But I would have just slightly picked December because I'm still playing Godfall a lot. And so I think that's the thing that really edges it over. Otherwise, I do think May has more games I'm interested in playing. But Godfall is just a lot of fun for me right now. But Mortal Shell and Lego DC is really good as well. So both months are good. But December would have got my vote. So that's just across the board. Everybody voted for December on that one. Very interesting. No one gave a fuck about May, apparently. All right. I think it's Josh next. Are you starting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, Josh, you got November and March. In November, we got First Class Trouble, Knockout City, Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, The Persistence, and Until You Fall. The last three I said are all VR games. Most people probably didn't play those. So you can take them into consideration for sure. They gave them to you that month. They also gave them the next month as well. But you can also just ignore them too if you didn't play VR. I'm not going to let it weigh too heavy on my decision. And then in March, it is March. We got Maquette, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, and Farpoint.
November, First Class Trouble. I hated how it controlled on the PS5. Controls way better on PC, plays way better on PC. Kings of Amalur was fun to jump back into it, but my God, is that game, it's definitely dated. But though they did just release DLC for it, which was wild.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, and it's an expansion.
Yeah, but like the story I think was cool, but and that little gnome stabs the shit out of people.
True.
Knockout City was fun with you guys. It was bunk that we couldn't play online in big team battles because we weren't high enough level or anything like that. But it was fun for the couple hours we played it. And The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is supposed to be the best Walking Dead game for VR, from what I understand. So that's
one of the best VR games in general.
Is that the one you can just stab people in the head with shit? And it's like very haptic.
First person. I almost called that first person shooter. Of course it is. But yeah, it's the one where you like wander the city and like help people and stuff like that. What was it, March?
Yeah.
March just has the banger games though. Final Fantasy VII and Remnant from the Ashes. I can't really we all heard my piece on those, so I'm just gonna go with March.
Yeah. All right. That's one vote for March. Cody, you got November and March. What are you picking and why?
In November, First Class Trouble is a game that I feel like everyone should give a try. It's super fun, especially if you like Among Us. Like those, that's that game, right? Among Us. Yeah. It's like, what the hell? But yeah, that I feel like everyone should give that game a try. It's super fun. I feel like kind of pushed me in a way to play, because I don't usually play with a lot of just randos all the time, and that game just kind of like puts you in it and actually makes it fun. And plus it makes it fun to just talk shit to random people and just like do just crazy shit.
That is true.
Me and Seth played a bunch on PC, and that was super fun. But so I can only imagine. Anyways, so November was. I feel like everyone should give that game a try, and that kind of right for me holds up November. But March is the banger month with all those games, so I gotta keep it with March.
All right, it's 2 votes for March, none for November. Sarah, what are you picking and why?
March.
All right, that's easy.
Again, I think of all the games between March and November, A Remnant from the Ashes is probably my favorite one. Also, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Again, we talked about already. March is the banger month. November, First Class Trouble. I like First Class Trouble. I think it's cool on the PlayStation too, especially the PS5 with the mics. You know, it's like it's really accessible. I think on the PlayStation to like get in and play it with people. So I think that's cool.
You can use it to like you talk to the personoid kind of thing. If it's like, is that how the like the microphone works on the controller?
Well, that's just that it's a game that you have to talk to people, and you have a controller no matter what that has a mic in it, so you can always like.
Oh, okay,
it's a good game to kind of give, especially on PS5 because everyone's got a headset essentially. There's no excuses.
So
you like COD, and no one's talking still. It's weird.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun playing Knockout City, but I think that's just because we kind of played it with everybody like in the community. So I think had that not happened, I probably would not have enjoyed my Knockout City experience.
It's kind of like a Mario Party experience when we're all playing together, just fucking around, having fun.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, definitely March I think is, in my opinion, easily the better of the two.
Yeah. All right. So March moves on to go against December, but what I would have voted for is March as well. I'm not even like pretty into Remnant. I fucking love it. I think it's a really good game, like really good and really underrated, and you should definitely go play it. But also Final Fantasy VII Remake is fantastic. It's a very good remake. And Maquette's cool. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it's not like a shitty puzzle game. It's super creative. Farpoint's all right. But what's the other one? November. First Class Trouble. I fucking love First Class Trouble. I think it's a fantastic game. I think it's the best in social deduction games. It's really fun. It is slightly held back by the over-encumbered controls on PS5, but the experience is still there. You can still have it. And it's a lot of fun. So that is pretty strong for November for me. Knockout City was fun, but contextually, like in certain circumstances. Otherwise, I did expect to play it and be done with it. But our play session together was a lot of fun. I think that made it more of an enjoyable experience for me. Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning was really weird for me because when that game came out originally, I fucking hated it. Josh remembers that because back then he was playing it. I was like, I hate that game. That game sucks. Playing it again, I learned to like it, which was really weird. I played it for like 12 hours. Not super long, but way more time than I thought I was going to put into it. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, it was a good thing to throw out there. And then I'm not going to talk about each individual VR game, but that they just gave people 3 VR games in November is awesome. And I guess Until You Fall is like really good. I have played The Persistence, and it's pretty cool. It's a horror game. And then Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners is constantly in like the top 5 best VR games out there right now with Boneworks and Half-Life Alyx. So it's definitely better if you have like full room VR, but that they gave it to you on PlayStation Plus because Sony's really trying to push VR, and I really commend them for that. Is awesome. I mean, look at that roster of games in November. It's 6 fucking games. A lot of people without PSVR are not playing them, so they're missing out on that. But if you do have VR, you got 6 games, and I think they're all to a certain degree good. But March just has like solid ass games. Undeniably good games. So yeah, that's why I picked March. And then Chevy.
Yeah, so I don't really care for First Class Trouble. Kingdoms of Amalur has a lot of good ideas, but like Josh said, is a dated game. I think if that game got a remake, it would be actually a very good game. But yeah, it's held back by its age, I think. Knockout City is whatever for me, and I didn't play any of the VR games, and I love two of the games. In what was that March? March, yeah. So kind of an easy win.
March steamrolls November and moves on to go against December. All right, so Cody's up next. All right, and so Cody, you got, huh? Somebody say something? Nothing. All right. So Cody, you have February and January. January is returning with Maneater, Greedfall, not Greenfall, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and now against February, which is Destruction All-Stars, Control, and Concrete Genie. Which one are you picking and why?
Well, the only game out of February that I actually played was Control, which was really good and actually prompted me to buy it on PC when it came out. It was on the Steam sale. So that's solid for that game. That game was fun when I played it. I didn't play very much of it, but obviously prompted me to buy it. So says at least a little something. And then oh dang, what was the next one? What was the next month? Sorry.
Oh, January.
January. Oh yeah. Dang. Kind of hard for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with January though, just because I guess the diversity of games. I know the other ones and they're pretty diverse as well, but I feel like with Greedfall you're getting like a decent RPG, an arcade shark Tony Hawk, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is like janky poor man's Uncharted. So it was pretty good.
True, dude. I fucking
Pretty good.
that.
I'm gonna go with January.
All right, Sarah, you got January and February. What are you picking and why?
I'm just like keep imagining the shark skateboarding now.
Yeah.
Since
Oh yeah.
we keep calling it Tony Hawk.
Oh yeah.
This is harder because I think Control is really good, and I think it's cool that they gave it to you on PlayStation Plus. But I think I'm gonna have to stick with January. I like Greedfall a lot. I think it's like a good, like in-depth kind of like old school RPG, which I think is cool. It was a lot of fun. A game I want to and would likely go back to. And Maneater, really good. So yeah, I think just I kind of slightly lean towards January, so that's my pick.
Yeah, it's a good one. We got 2 votes for January and none for February. I'm up next. So January is a really good month. PlayStation Plus has just been starting out with in 2021. So like the first couple months were all really great. So, and this is just a reminder of that. Maneater, Greedfall, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I kind of went over my thoughts on these. One thing I thought of just now though that's kind of cool is like Greedfall's a game that a lot of people probably didn't play or didn't think to play, and then they got it offered on here. So it's kind of cool that they're like, hey, everybody knows Tomb Raider, but here's Greedfall. Maybe you didn't play that and check it out. And so I think that was a big solid that they did for Spiders in that regard. But then February we got Destruction All Stars, which is fine. It could have been better. Hopefully it is better by now. But and that was a PS5 exclusive. At the time, people forgot about that game. Kind of easy to do that though, honestly. Concrete Genie was a cool game. Really cool art style. Really cool ideas of drawing on walls and making your own light monsters and stuff like that. Pretty cool idea. But Control's fantastic. It's a Remedy game. I'm a big fan of Remedy. I think everything they do is just genius and awesome. And I had played Control on PC before because I needed a game that had ray tracing back then, and it looks fantastic. Also cool to see the ray tracing on PS5. And it plays really good. Played good, looked good, fantastic. I'm going to keep this alive and vote for February, just because out of all 6 of these games, Control's my favorite. And I do think February has some pretty good offerings, not as strong as January, but there is no game in January that I'm as strongly adamant about as Control. So February gets my vote. But it could go either way for me on that, really. It just controls just so powerful for like how much I like it compared to the other games. But both months really good. Chevy.
I'm going to give it to February because Control is a full RTX game that you can play on your PlayStation 5. So you get to actually experience what the console can do early on in the year. And I think that was a really good game to give PS5 owners. Destruction All Stars was a neat idea. I'm sure there's plenty of people who probably enjoyed it. I don't know how the longevity of it, but it was okay. And then Concrete Genie was also kind of like an okay. I have a feeling a lot of people would be into that type of game.
A lot of people did like it.
I know a lot of people like Tomb Raider. I'm just not a fan. Maneater was fun, but like that only is like a day's worth of fun for me. And I'm not really that fond of Greedfall. So yeah, February.
All right, Josh, it is up to you. Which one gets through, February or January, and why?
I thought February had two absolute just kind of duds of games. Control being the absolute shining example there. But Greedfall and Maneater, in my opinion, overtake it. It's just those two games are just the type of games that I love. So I really can't turn my back on them. So January.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. That is January moving forward, going up against We Don't Know, but we will find out. That's the worst thing about this so far is like last year, there was like some good months, great months, and some real shit months. And so sometimes it's like no brainer. But like this year, it's just like I keep just noticing these decisions are harder to make this year. It seems like there's much better months all around for PlayStation Plus. Because the January one for me was pretty rough. Because I'm looking at January, I'm like, that's a solid month. But I'm looking at February, I'm like, that's pretty solid. But they also offered like a really good game there too, in my opinion, of course. But so it gets rough. And now I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at January, and I'm looking at March, which are eventually, well, they might meet. We'll find out. But yeah, some really good months. So who's going first this time? Who went last time? Was it Cody? So Sarah's going first.
Yep.
Okay. So, Sarah, you have April and September to vote for, and to let people know what's going on with those. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this month. In April, we got Oddworld Soulstorm, brand new. It came out on PlayStation Plus the month it came out. Days Gone and Zombie Army 4 Dead War. And then in September, reminding people, because this is coming back, we got Overcooked All You Can Eat, Hitman 2, and Predator Hunting Grounds. Which one are you picking and why?
This is actually a really hard choice for me. And I noticed it was coming up, and now I have to pick first.
You set the tone, dude.
But I absolutely adore Oddworld. I've liked all the Oddworld games, and I thought Soulstorm was really good. I was really excited that they released a new one. Excited that they gave it out on PlayStation Plus. I had a lot of fun with it. But I think September is also really strong. I loved Overcooked, Hitman 2, Predator Hunting Grounds, all games I enjoyed. I'm going to pick April for Oddworld, I think. Yeah, I would almost go September because I think like I said, all the games are good in September, where April, I think Oddworld is the standout for me, but I just love Oddworld so much. I think it easily holds April for me. So yeah, I'll go with that.
All right. We got one vote for April. I'm up next. This one's actually really easy for me, which is weird because, in April, you got Oddworld Soulstorm, The Return of Oddworld. You got it when it came out. And it's like the old Oddworld game. So if you have that nostalgia, it's really cool to return to that. Days Gone, even though it did come out on the PlayStation Collection, which is kind of weird. is a game that did sell like 8 million, so plenty of people bought it, but I still feel like a lot of people didn't play it, including myself. And so I got to play it and appreciate it. Zombie Army 4 Dead War is like fucking fun. It's just a straight up 4-player shoot zombies game that's a blast. I honestly forgot April was like such a fucking banger ass month. But then September is no slouch either. You got Overcooked All You Can Eat. I talked about it, but it's a solid game. Good co-op. You better have strong relationships when you play it, though. It will test you, but you'll be stronger afterwards if you survive it. If you don't, get rid of that person in your life. If they can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. Hitman 2 is a fucking banger. Hitman 2 is so good, but that is a to each their own thing. If you're not into that kind of game, this ain't for you. But if you like this kind of game, there's nothing like it. So Hitman 2 is fucking amazing. Predator Hunter Grounds is fun. It's fine. It's not amazing. For that reason alone, though, I have to pick April. April's such a fucking strong month. Where you do have, some bangers in September. All of April, in my opinion, is really good. The weakest game there is Zombie Army 4 Dead War, and it's a blast. It's a lot of fun. Days Gone's a lot of fun. It's a AAA Sony game. Even though it did come out in the collection, kind of cheapens it. It's still really cool. And then Oddworld was a lot of fun, really fun to return to. And I always really appreciate when they launch games on PlayStation Plus. It seems to typically be beneficial for like a lot of indie games to just come out on there. So that's another vote for April. And again, both months are really good, but this is honestly very easy for me. So yeah, Chevy, you can either make or break this with April and September.
I actually also think it's pretty easy. For me, like Days Gone and Hitman 2 are kind of in the same category where I recognize that they're good games, just not for me. And then the rest of September is kind of whatever for me. As for, I think Oddworld is a very good game. It's very, it honors the original format while also bringing it to the modern age. I really thought they did a good job with that. And Zombie Army 4 is what you kind of expect out of it. You get, you get a co-op experience, and it has, just some good fun to be had there. I don't take it too seriously, but it's a fun game. So April.
Mm-hmm. So you're voting for April then? All right, that closes it out early. That was real fucking easy. We got April moving forward to go up against January. But Josh, what would you have voted for and why?
This is one of those times where it's funny that September was like, I was like, oh yeah, September, fucking primo. The last time it went up against something. Mm-hmm. But this time I'm like, ooh, April. April gets my vote. I think that Days Gone is a fucking awesome game. That was one of the times I sat and I beat that too. Mm-hmm. It is, I think a lot more people should experience it. Playing it on the PS5 is the absolute best way to play it.
It plays great on there. I never even played it on PS4. I was playing on PS5 and I was looking at the frame rate. I'm like, there's no way it played this well on PS4. I was like, really, just looking, I was like, this performance is really good.
100% didn't, because I actually bought it for PS4 and it didn't play like that at all. And then, and then playing it on PS5, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is a huge improvement. This is how the game should have been played, from the get-go. And it was awesome. Oddworld Soulstorm, huge get. Brand new Oddworld. There hasn't been an Oddworld in decade or something like that.
I think it was like the 2000s, early 2000s, the last one came out.
Yeah, so it's a real return to form. So that was a real awesome get. And Zombie Army 4, I have my issues with it, but the time that we played together was super fun. I mean, it was just us wrecking zombies. I mean, there's really nothing else to it. But for a co-op game, it was deep enough to be entertaining.
I legit want to reinstall all 3 of these games in April. Like looking at them, I was like, I forgot I have these now. Like I should play those. Mm-hmm. Zombie Army 4 would be fun to play. It's 4-player.
Yeah, my only issue with Zombie Army 4, and I brought this up, was like they individually score.
Yeah.
And it's like a co-op game. I figured, why don't they just make everybody have this, dump into the same
That is the
score?
worst, and we've talked about on the channel before, but like that is one of the worst things ever when you make a co-op game, but you make it kind of competitive too, like, and kind of individual in the sense, because if you make a co-op game, it's so much better when you really incentivize team tactics, and then when you nail it, you feel good for everybody, the team, like, yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Also, fuck the boat.
Yeah, fuck that boat, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, April.
All right, and then Cody, what would you have picked?
April 2, just kind of what you were saying just with Oddworld is that it launched, right? That was the month that it launched on that. So that's awesome right there. So I mean that's for that alone is awesome. Yeah, April. Yeah, absolutely April.
All right, short and
All
sweet,
around.
dude. But yeah, April was a good month for sure. I put this list together, and I've been looking at it while we've been talking, and then when I looked at April, it's like, oh yeah, that was a thing. So, all right. Oh shit, I forgot now. Who started last time, Sarah?
Yeah.
So I start. Sick. I like starting. All right. So I have December and March to start this with. To remind people, in December, we got Godfall Challenger Edition, Mortal Shell, and LEGO DC Supervillains. And in March, we got Maquette, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, and Farpoint. This is really easy for me, honestly. I'm going to pick March, which is rough because I'm playing Godfall a lot right now and I'm having fun. But I'm going to say it again, I really love Remnant a lot. I think it's a really good game. And I think Final Fantasy VII Remake, even though I haven't finished it, is fantastic. And that you got it on PS Plus is awesome. It's a really good remake. March was just a really good month. That was like them just like flexing, dude. Like, dude, check out these fucking games you're getting. Whereas like December, Mortal Shell, it's fine. LEGO DC Supervillains, good for other people, not really huge for me. And then Godfall, I really like, but I get on an objective level some of the criticisms it received. So I think March is just a really, really strong month. So I'm going to vote for March. Moving over to Chevy, what are you picking and why?
I beat Final Fantasy VII and I beat Remnant. I mean, that's not something I do often, and I beat two of the games that are offered in 1 month. So March, easy.
All right, that's 2 votes for March. Josh, you get to make or break this. Which one are you picking and why?
3 votes for March. It was just, March is such a crazy good month. So gotta vote for that.
Any thoughts on December as you have completely exited off the list?
Godfall is the only good game there, and it, in my opinion, it's the only one I am still playing. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but at the same time, Remnant I've installed multiple times this year and have played it off and on with you, Seth. So I mean, like, I'm not doing that with any other game.
Yeah,
and then
I'm still
Final
playing
Fantasy, I could almost, looking through these games, I would almost say it's the most premium game you got this year.
One of them for sure.
So yeah, it's just March is what they call the banger month.
Yeah, it's a really strong one. That is the banger month for sure. All right, well, that leads March into being one of the 2 finalists for the winner of Game of the Year. So or not Game of the Year. It's going to be the Game of the Year, baby. Best month of PlayStation Plus. And yeah, December is out. But Cody, if you were to vote for one of the 2, what would you have voted for and why?
Bangers in March, baby. That's it.
Yeah,
that's gonna be it. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII's just carrying it through.
It's a really strong month.
Mm-hmm.
And even again, no one's really talking about Maquette, but like it was cool. Like I would have never fucking played that game if it wasn't on there, and I don't regret it. So,
agreed.
Yeah. Sarah, you ready to say goodbye to Godfall?
I know my vote doesn't matter, but I vote actually for December. For me, March versus December is Remnant from the Ashes versus Godfall. And so considering that this is a PlayStation Plus discussion, I have to say, like, I think that the Godfall experience is better on PlayStation versus PC. And for me, I prefer to play Remnant on PC. So that's really it. I think Godfall pulls December for me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's strong, especially with how much time we've put into it. I mean, it's not at this point. I mean, it's not like my favorite game ever, but like I played enough to enjoy it, and yeah, so it definitely holds some weight.
And personally, as somebody who like really prefers PC, Godfall is one of the few games I think is better on the PlayStation versus it
is a better experience.
PC counterpart. So. That's kind of what's swaying my decision. Not that it matters, but
yeah.
Well, it's going to matter to listeners.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We want to know what you have to say on it. I just kind of want to back that though with Godfall. I have a computer that can run Godfall just fine, theoretically, but I was getting like jittery shit happening on PC, and then the mouse and keyboard situation, though being able to aim to teleport to things is much better in that regard. Everything else isn't. It's way better on a controller. So of course you could just say, hey, plug a controller in, and then you got a good experience with Godfall on PC. But it just runs super fucking smooth on PS5. It's optimized very well for console, and so it is a better experience on there. So yeah, I agree with that. All right, so March moves on. That is Maquette, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, and Farpoint, which no one's talking about. I keep forgetting it's even there. He's like, I'm here too.
It's a VR game.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I don't put weight on it, because I know most people watching and listening, including people here as well, most people didn't play it. So I would recommend it though. But man, if that was just like a first-person shooter, not a VR game, it would be a PlayStation game. That's that basic.
Maquette, good too. I know, sort of like I keep talking about Remnant and everyone obviously loves Final Fantasy Remake, but Maquette was really cool.
Maquette was really cool.
Yeah. I'm
not a big puzzle guy, but I really did appreciate what they were doing with a lot of the puzzles. I actually played it longer than I thought I was going to, so yeah. Chevy is up next, I believe, and you get to start us off on January and April. January is Maneater, Greedfall, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. April is... Where's April? Oddworld Soulstorm, Days Gone, and Zombie Army 4 Dead War. Which one are you picking and why?
April, Oddworld, and Zombie Army, because they're games I would play. So, that's it.
Yeah. All right.
Sweet.
Fair enough. Josh, what are you picking and why?
As much as I feel like a fucking Judas, I think I'm going to have to go with April. When I look at January, there's 2 awesome games there. Games I beat. But Tomb Raider is not... It's okay. It's Tomb Raider. But April, all 3 games are awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't really have any complaints there. So April it is.
Yeah, I agree. Great games on both of them. It's a tough one for sure. All right, Cody, you got April and January. Which one you picking and why? You can make it or break it.
I'm gonna stick with April. It's just another banger month. 2 banger months out of the year.
Yeah.
Just dueling it out. Back-to-back months. Yeah, so just piggybacking from just the last when we were talking about April before, Oddworld Soulstorm, just launching that on PS Plus is super smart, really cool. But April, absolutely, yep, yeah. April.
All right, well, April is the other runner-up for winner, and a bit revealing on my point of view on this, but I think these 2 are the ones that deserve to be at the end anyway, so sure. That is cool to see. But Sarah, what would you have voted for between January and April if your vote counted?
January, I agree with Josh. I think
Judas, dude. We got a couple fucking.
January has 2 good games. April has 3 good games, but also just Oddworld. love Oddworld, so April.
Yeah. Before votes for April, I also would have voted for April. January, I mean, I've been pretty much the only guy here, well, Chevy too, that hasn't really been voting for January on most things. So I think it was a fine month, but nothing I was super in love with. April, I think, is one of the strongest months of the year easily. It's a really good month with a lot of value. Each one of those games is awesome and different enough. So yeah, I would have voted for April too, like fucking easy. So I was nervous for a second when it started. I was like, I don't get to influence this vote at all, and I really want April to make it, but I'll keep my mouth shut so I can't influence people. So yeah, that is that. April moves forward, and we are finally at the end of the road. We got March and April. To remind people, in March we got Maquette, which is a first-person puzzle game that's very whimsical. And you got Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is the remake of the famous Final Fantasy VII. Remnant from the Ashes, a third-person action game that's Souls-like. And then we got the VR game Farpoint, which is a first-person shooter that is VR. And then in April, I like how they're right next to each other, too. That's nice. In April, we got the day one launch of Oddworld Soulstorm, the continuation of the Oddworld franchise, which is a 2D perspective action stealth platformer puzzle game. And then Days Gone, which is a AAA as fuck third person Sony exclusive. Sony exclusive is correct. I was going to say PlayStation exclusive, but it's on PC now. In which you survive the zombie apocalypse with Boozer. And then Zombie Army 4 Dead War, which is a 4-player co-op third-person survival shooter. We got some big ones here. Who's going first now?
Me?
I think it was Josh. Or did you go
I think
first?
so.
Okay. Yeah. Or did I go first last time?
I think you went. It's Josh. I'm pretty sure.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it's Josh,
Unless
too.
it's split, me and you aren't going to matter. So
No, Chevy went first because it was up to Cody to make or break it.
Yep. Okay. You're right.
So
All right, Josh, you get to pick March or April. Feel free to go as much detail if you want on why you're making the decision.
Holy shit. I think I'm just gonna break it down to the same reason I picked it over January, and I'm gonna go with April. There's 3 dope games in April, spread out over all sorts of genres and all sorts of and there's co-op. There's a little taste of everything for everybody in April. And Days Gone was such a decent experience. I never, I don't have a lot of bad to say about that game. I think I don't remember his name, but Starkiller. I think he did a good job as the main
Sam
actor. Yeah, and even if he talked to himself almost way too much, but I talk to myself a lot, so it's kind of endearing.
It's relatable, dude. You're like, dude, I am this guy.
I know, dude. Final Fantasy VII. The only mark I can give against it is it was right when the PS5 version released with that DLC, and they didn't give it to you, which I get. But other than that, the game is awesome. It's AAA as fuck. Maquette, I think, is the weakest game out of all 6. And Remnant is so fucking good. But April, in my opinion, just had a better spread of games.
I would say more well-rounded thing going on. Yeah, all right. We got 1 vote for April. Cody, which one are you picking and why?
I'm going to go March. Just with you guys talking about April having a spread of games. I mean, you get Farpoint, which is VR. You get Final Fantasy VII, which is the RPG. And Maquette, you get puzzle game, and then you get Remnant, which is like a Souls-like. Third-person shooter, plays super solid. I mean, it's super well-rounded. I got to go with March. You're getting basically little of everything.
Yeah. No, it is super well rounded. Even if you're not counting the VR or not, like it's there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you did get a little bit of everything. So March definitely is a very strong month.
The value.
Yeah, for sure.
Space value.
That's what we like around here. Value with
right.
our PlayStation
I'm a
Plus
value guy.
months.
That's what I like in gaming. Value.
Yeah. Sarah, what are you picking and why?
Bargain.
I'm gonna go with April. I think that again, March, banger month, but when it comes down to it, you know, Remnant I prefer again on the PC. And I think Oddworld is probably one of my favorite games that we got on PlayStation Plus this year. Yeah, I think ultimately I'm picking April because I loved Oddworld so much.
Yeah.
Well, trusty.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna kind of break this down a little bit. So April is super strong. It's just like three games that are great. And Zombie Army is probably the weakest of the three in my opinion, but it's still a lot of fun. And then March, you're getting like a legendary game with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Remnant, I'm unfairly biased towards. I fucking love Remnant. Farpoint's awesome, and kind of like what Cody kind of touched on, like they gave you even more variety, more flavor that month. And then Maquette is no slouch in that it is a very cool and creative puzzle game, which is a lot to say from me as someone, as you know now, is not a fan of those. But before we started this last thing, I kind of in my head had a strategy, and I was like, if they pick this, Chevy can be the last guy to pick, because I was going to pick March anyway, and that's my vote. So I'm happy to pass it on to Chevy, getting to pick for everybody what the best month of PlayStation Plus in 2021 is. I'm so glad it worked out that way, because I was like, Josh can pick this, Cody will probably pick this, I hope Sarah picks that, because then I can fucking pass it to Chevy, because this is really rough. These 2 months are really rough, but I being honest, and I think April's fucking definitely the strongest month for sure. Biasedly, March though is my favorite one. So I pick March. That's 2 for March, 2 for April. Chevy, which one is the best month of PlayStation Plus?
Well, I mean, we're going to talk about bias. The only game that's better than Final Fantasy VII for me is Final Fantasy 14. So,
There you go.
March.
Boom.
All right. That
Bias
is
all around.
3 votes for March, 2 votes for April. That means, according to Tasty Loot Gaming, we all agree, nobody disagrees, that March is the best month of PlayStation Plus in 2021. And I think it's a very good pick.
Best month ever.
Every fucking year, man.
It's rough,
Actually,
dude.
this is the first year I actually, my choice made it to the end. So
Yeah, that's why I was kind of excited, because I was like, I'm definitely going to pick March, but I want to see what Chevy picks, because he normally is like, it's not really what I would have picked. But so he actually got to pick it this time.
now, in all fairness, too, I do want to put out there that January, February, March, and April were really strong. So.
Yeah.
Banger months.
Really good months this year. But yeah, March is our winner, and who can blame anybody? Final Fantasy VII was a huge get. Remnant was a huge get. You got a VR game. You got Maquette. And yeah, April is also a very great month. I'm actually glad to see both of those go against each other. I would have been really annoyed if like it was like January versus March, or well, no, December's
Fucking tennis versus Final Fantasy.
something weird like that. Like I'm glad 2 like Titans win against each other in this sense. So yeah, I would have been fine with either of those winning, but March definitely. Obviously, I voted for it, so I agree with that. But really good one. And then I also want to say this whole year seemed to be really strong. There's a couple weak months. There's like a couple of them, but mainly looking at August. Even though they gave you Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville, which I liked way more than I feel like I should. Everything else in that was kind of shit. I honestly felt kind of insulted getting Hunter's Arena Legends. And then, I mean, whatever people felt about Godfall for whatever reason, thinking it was like an insult, I felt that way about Hunter's Arena Legends. And that is just a full game. It's horrible. It's a horrible game. And tennis is
it a game?
Rough. Huh?
Is it a game?
I think it's a way to fucking milk money from children who are willing to steal their mother's credit card. I think that's what it is. I think it's a scam. I think it's a psyop, dude. And then I think June is a pretty weak month as well. Operation Tango was fun, but the rest of it, whatever. I could have went without it. So, but like you said, January is a good one. February is a good one. March is a good one. April is a good one. I think May was actually really good. I liked May a lot. December's great. November was strong. October's pretty good. September, I think, was pretty strong. And then July was decent. So, I mean, like, great year in reflection. But yeah, the two best ones made it to the end, and March is definitely my favorite. Anybody got any thoughts wrapping this up? Any months that stood out? Anything that you wanted to win for sure? Anything that you kind of are upset that didn't make it further?
No, I mean, I didn't really have any strong feelings for the whole year, just because most of the year I didn't really care about. So, so the month that had 2 games I liked, and I'm happy it made it. So,
Yeah. Is there anything in 2022 when it comes to PlayStation Plus you're hoping to see, whether it's a specific game or a type of game you'd like to see more of, or maybe a strategy for PlayStation Plus when it comes to how they release the games, don't release 3 story games at once, that kind of thing? Any thoughts?
I think maybe maybe giving the little guys like what they did with Oddworld and Destruction All Stars. They just gave them as like freebies when they released. Get them in the public's eye, and hopefully get, I mean, I don't think Oddworld had any problem with a community per se, but just to kind of give them a jump start. I think if they did some more stuff like that, took that little guy and just gave him the push, I think it would be really well received, especially amongst us.
Yeah, I agree. I would like to see months be more thought out, in the sense that I'd like to see like an indie game. I don't really care what genre of the indie game, but something smaller. And maybe some people view that as like devaluing it, but there's a bunch of fucking fantastic indie games. The AAA games just don't have the balls to fucking make these kind of games. It'd be cool to get something like that. And then something a little more robust, more AAA, something that's a big banger that everybody knows and loves or whatever. And then maybe something more multiplayer centric for people who are looking for things that are going to be online. And then you get kind of a good contrast of different varieties. Because that's one thing in the Reddit discussions that I have for Plus Club that I see a lot is people are either all for a month or not into it. And a lot of times it's because there's not a good diversity of games that month. They normally lean into, well, here's third-person shooters. Well, here's these kind of games, this kind of game. Or like 3 games no one's ever heard about that people don't care about, which sometimes works to their advantage, because like Operation Tango would have never played that game if it wasn't given to me. And like Maquette and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd like to see like a strategy in that sense. And I know every month you can't do that. It's not always going to work out, but, and this year was much better. Last year there was like, last year, there was, a lot more like weird months where it's like, why'd you give us 2 Telltale games at once? Like, why would you do that? It just makes the whole month kind of weird feeling. So yeah, I'd like to see more strategy when it comes to that. But of course, that comes down to Sony communicating with the companies that are willing to let their games be on PlayStation Plus. So I know it can't always be that way. And yeah, I hope 2022 is just as strong as 2021, because I think 2021 is a really good month for PlayStation Plus. Anybody else got thoughts?
Well, January is starting out pretty banger, so
yeah, I can't talk about it, but
yeah,
2022 seems like it's starting off
2022 Jesus
with some
Christ.
value.
Yeah, one game I would like to see this year is Hades. I think
it's time.
A lot more people should play that game. I already have it on PC, but having it on console too would be cool, and showing support for them would be cool. So, because that game is a awesome roguelike. So,
yeah,
completely turns that whole kind of thing on its head by making it fun to die, because then there's more shit you get to experience. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see I don't even know if they're on console or not, but the 3-pack I bought of Devolver games, that's Inscription, Loop Hero, and the one with the crow, I forgot what it's called. I like to see those, not necessarily all
Switch.
together, huh?
I think they're on Switch.
Yeah. Well, if they come to PlayStation, I think those games would be big gets, and I think they'd be good to kind of put like one in at a time, not all three at once. Although I think you would get a good variety of games if you got all three of them at once. But those would be really cool games to see, and I think they could totally do it. I mean, they're all smaller games, so and yeah, that's some things I can think of off the top of my head. I also like to see if they can more fighting games.
I was
Yep.
literally thinking that. Yeah, there's more fighting games for sure.
We
Yeah.
got a couple, but I feel like it'd be cool to see like a Guilty Gear or
Yeah.
something else.
It's
I
about
think with
that
them
time
releasing.
that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was
gonna
gonna say,
Chevy, go.
good old internet. Yeah. The only thing I was gonna say with Guilty Gear heading into year 2 and them also making DFO or Dungeon Fighter online or whatever, if they could do a second year of characters for Guilty Gear, it'd be a good opportunity to give away Guilty Gear Strive with year 1 characters, maybe entice people to buy the year 2 characters, also add more life into that game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think that'd be a smart choice. I'm pretty sure they did similar with Tekken in the past. So
Yeah.
I was just gonna say it's
Killer Instinct, I think too.
it'd be a good time. That's Xbox exclusive.
well, same in principle though. I think.
Yeah,
it's
that's what I mean. But same,
That's
yeah.
fair, that's fair. I think it's almost time that Soul Calibur 6 I think could be up for
Oh, for sure, dude.
PS Plus. I
it's
think
been out
that'd be an
long enough.
awesome get. It's one of the best like 3D fighters out there. So getting it in more people's hands I think would be a complete win.
Yeah.
Speaking of Guilty Gear Strive, I don't think there's any Japanese fighters that's been in PS Plus.
Yeah, because I was gonna say Tekken
Fighter,
would be cool to see, and I know they're still supporting that.
Oh yeah, Virtua Fighter, Virtua
Fighter, yeah.
fucking bullshit.
Here's an old game. That's free. You can have fun with that. And I would like to see more cooperative games as well. I mean, that's just easy. But when you're giving games out on a platform that's online, I would like to see more ways for me to play with my fellow PlayStation players. Although taking a lot from the conversations I have on Reddit with people when it comes to Plus Club, there's a lot of people who do not like to play with people, which is something I've noticed with PlayStation players. Xbox seems to be a more social community across the board, but yeah, a lot of people don't like multiplayer games that much. Whether it's because they don't want to play with people or they don't have people to play with. Of course, I respect the idea of releasing things that aren't just multiplayer as well. But I always really enjoy getting a game that's like 4-player, because I'm like, oh shit, I know everybody else is getting it right now too, so it's not going to be hard to coordinate playing it. It's always a lot of fun for me. So.
Yeah, I would almost, if they'd keep doing the 3 games a month setup, I would be almost willing to give one of those spaces always to like a cool co-op game or something like that, just to, because then it, like, if It Takes Two, like, came out for PS Plus, that'd be a huge.
Oh, dude,
hit.
I think it's like 50-50 that it might come out this year on PlayStation Plus. I think there's a good chance of it. But even A Way Out, did that come out on PlayStation Plus?
No.
That should come out on PlayStation Plus. That'd be a great one.
Yeah, or give that one away, and then people will be like, well, what about It Takes Two? That looks awesome.
Yeah.
I can get it for cheap. So something like that I think would be cool. I like the idea of having like a co-op game every month.
That's what I was saying. Like, it'd be cool to get like an indie game, a big title, and then a multiplayer game each time. And those are so vague that you could really fit a lot of games into those. So just something that offers multiplayer, whether it's co-op or versus whatever. And then something that's like huge, big spectacle, something you're really excited to get. Oh shit, I was going to buy that, but I didn't. And then, something indie just to kind of, because there's so many fucking indie games. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You always have something to throw out there. So, yeah. Any thoughts, Sarah? Anything you'd like to see? More Godfall?
More Godfall. But also, I think, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you on the co-op stuff. It'd be nice if we had one. You know, the months. I know they didn't win, and I wouldn't push them through just because of these things. But like the months that I remember most fondly are like Plants vs. Zombies, playing with everybody. September, playing Overcooked and Predator. So yeah.
Yeah, those are really memorable when you're playing with other people, because now there's like that shared memory of that. So for sure.
I can see that.
Yeah. And then every game that I jokingly say that's going to be on PlayStation Plus in a year, I hope those all show up this year, so I'm right. Because I'm going to be, mark my words, wait for it. And those games, I'm like, oh, it's going to be on PlayStation Plus. Let's get some Valorant on there, dude. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say on that.
I mean, I'd like to see, because it's been long enough, I think, at this point, they could give Ratchet and Clank out, kind of put some more attention on that, maybe put them in a position to make another one. I'd also like to see, right before the new God of War comes out, give out God of War.
Boosh. Yeah.
It is on the PS Collection.
Yeah.
But to get it for free would be cool.
Sure, that doesn't help the majority of PlayStation players, which are on PS4.
Yeah.
So.
That could be a situation like Days Gone where they just give it out anyway, so that everybody gets it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, God of War would be a good one. I was thinking about Insomniac in general, and even like Spider-Man and Miles Morales, give those out. They sold. They got their money.
Yeah.
You know, release them before they make Spider-Man 2 or Wolverine. And then Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, by like the end of 2022, the game would have at this point made the majority of its money. I think people who bought it probably already bought it, but people who are still getting their PS5s are going to be picking up slowly. So by the end of the year, I think Ratchet and Clank would be a great get on PlayStation Plus.
What would you think about like I mean, because development's dead, they're done with it, but like Monster Hunter World. Like,
I don't see that happening, but that'd be huge. The reason I don't see that happening is because Capcom, that's a game that Capcom doesn't have to do shit about. Like, it's going to sell no matter what.
That is true.
They can sell at however price they want because it's that well received. And I see the benefit in getting it in more people's hands, but I don't think Capcom is going to feel inclined to want to do that. It's kind of like when Nintendo releases a game or Activision, they know they don't need to do anything with it. It's out there. It's $60. People are going to buy it.
Yeah, and then to back that up, just kind of some fun, information. The day Monster Hunter Rise had its PC release, the queue times in Final Fantasy 14 plummeted.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Damn.
Whoa.
Yeah. Can you play Final Fantasy 14 for free on console?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd say it'd be kind of cool to see some kind of like PlayStation Plus benefit
on the
to 14.
25th. Sorry.
Yep. On the 25th.
Yeah. Not right now. Not
Gotcha.
free right now. Don't try.
Maybe give people like a fucking month or something of time or something on PlayStation Plus. I don't even know what you could do there, but
They already give away 2 full games with that right now. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's up through Heaven's Word, right?
level 60, Heaven's Word. So you got 2 full stories. It's pretty crazy.
So what am I paying for when I'm playing it?
Everything after that.
I'm not even there yet.
I know, fucking hey.
Whose fault is that?
Why can't I should just be able to play for free then?
Not once you have a premium account. Can't go backwards.
Yeah, that's weird. That's a weird system. That's interesting. I'm like paying for free content. What a weird thing to find out. Yeah. Anything else? Got anything else that they like to see in 2022? Racing games? Something more puzzle games, dude.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Man, the only
More Deep Rock
games.
Galactic. They already came out this month, but
already got it.
let's get another release.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got a banger release or racing game recently.
EDF. Give everyone EDF 5.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Dude,
great.
if you
There you
EDF,
go. That'd be cool.
Here's your
Even
co-op
4.2
game,
or
dog.
4.1 or whatever. Like an EDF
Yeah.
in general, dude. Like anytime I stream that game, people always come in, they're like, "What is this?" They'd be like
Oh, yeah,
disappointed.
yeah,
It's
if
like
they
almost
gave
as bad
away-
as fucking Dragon's Crown when there's like half naked Amazonian girls spread out across like a fucking giant badger, and people are looking at me like, Seth, what the fuck are you playing? And I'm like, it's like you're watching something and a sex scene happens and someone walks in the door and they're like, what the fuck are you watching? It's like, it's just it literally just happened. Same thing with Dragon's Crown, but then also when you play EDF, it's almost the same reaction. It's weird. That game's innocent as fuck, and people come in and they're like, Seth, what are you fucking playing? I'm like, you shoot a bunch of big bugs and blow up cities. What are you talking about? This is amazing. That should be on PlayStation Plus for sure.
I was gonna say, would you rather them give away Shadow of New Despair 4.1 or 5?
5 because 6 is coming out.
Yeah, well, there's fucking 4 EDF games. They could give out all of them, like not at once.
yeah,
but
I
like,
guess that's fair.
there's
Or
the
Iron Rain,
Globe
'cause I know that
Brothers,
one
where the
is-
fuck it's called, the Pixel one, and then there's the
World
Iron Rain
Brothers?
one, whatever the fuck it's called, World Brothers, yeah, whatever the fuck. And then 5 and 4.1. If they're feeling real stingy, give out 4.1. It's great. So
Yeah, I was actually thinking. I think I like 4.1 better than 5.
I'm mixed on it. I think 5 is a much more modern feeling game, but 4.1 is just like solid as fuck. So there's a couple changes in 5 I'm not like the biggest fan of, but
The vehicles are just better in 5.
yeah,
So
the game works better for sure.
You're not driving the Basil Art in circles, or is it the Basil
Yeah,
Art's a
exactly. It
helicopter?
doesn't have a
right?
motorcycle that
I
doesn't
love
work
fucking-
correctly, or a fucking helicopter or some dumb shit. So,
yeah.
but yeah. So what you say? We wrap this up, unless
Yeah.
anybody else has anything else to say. Sure. All right. Well, yeah, March was the best month of PlayStation Plus in 2021. Let us know in the comments, what month would you have wanted to see win? What was your favorite month of PlayStation Plus in 2021? And what are you hoping to see from PlayStation Plus in 2022? I want to thank everybody who joined me. Sarah, Cody, Josh, Chevy. Thank you for showing up when I needed you the most and have this conversation with me. And yeah, for everybody who watched, thank you for watching. And until the next episode, I've been Seth, and have a good one, guys. And take it easy.